I've been writing fiction for way over 10 years now, with varying degrees of skills and success, not always in a straight line, as you might think. And many times I found myself asking, what am I going to write about? I dare say every writer asks himself this from time to time when they're staring at a blinking cursor on a desktop or tapping a pen on an empty notebook, but we tend to think of it in a certain way. We think, what's the story? What's going to happen? That, I think, can sometimes be a mistake. I think we skip a step. If we look at stories that we really love, chances are that what actually happens is only about half of what the story is really all about. To figure out the rest, I think we have to look in other places. In fact, the way that I found out what I want to spend my time writing about wasn't from reading short stories or novels at all. I was just listening to music one day. There's this song, not a popular one for whatever relevance that has, not one that you're likely to hear on the radio, but one that taught me a really good lesson. As I exhaled air out of my nose at its clever but bleak lyrics and its darkly beautiful subject matter, I realised that this song was a story. And better yet, it's a story that knows what it's about, which is what I think makes it so good. And it's about game shows. I know what you're thinking, game shows? Really? But that's exactly my point. It's not about the events, it's not about the game show, it's about everything else. If you listen to the song, all of the lyrics are evocative despite their simplicity, but I want to quote a few that help me figure out what I want to write about. What those lines are all about is hard to pin down when you listen to the song, but we recognise them. These lines have the unfathomable ability to translate and comprehend those parts of life that are often nameless and fleeting and momentary. They're about the gaps in between our lives, all those lost moments of no importance, yet all the importance. They're about how the mundane can be profound if you catch it in just the right light. Turn the volume up real high. All of that money, look at it fly. And you, smoking like a chimney. Shadows crawled across the living room's length. I held onto you with a desperate strength, with everything in me. There's no epic journey of discovery or battle to the death in these lyrics, but they do tell a story. Better yet, they tell a story that's universal, that every reader can relate to in their own way. They're about that ghost in all of our lives, that irritation, that feeling, that habit that we know as the human condition. We can't see it, we can't fix it, but it's always there. Sometimes we feel it more than others, and when we do, it reminds us of our vulnerability and our smallness and our insignificance as just one of billions. Carried you up the stairs that night. All of this could be yours if the price is right. I heard cars headed down to oblivion up on the expressway. But even though these moments remind us of our insignificance and the fact that, as my wife Hayley puts it, we're just specks on a rock floating through space, they also remind us we're not alone in our insignificance. That's what stories are made of, to me. That's what I want to write about. You can have that epic journey and you can have the action-packed battle, but to me, that's not where the story really lives. It lives in the in-between moments. The traveller finds it sitting at their campfire, wondering if they really escaped anything by leaving. The warrior finds it staring at the wall of their tent, hands trembling, armour dented and bloody. It's those nameless in-between moments that I think are most worth writing about. It's those moments, hearing cars out on the expressway or watching shadows crawl across the living room floor, where you try not to think about the state of this rock that we're all floating through space on. Those are the ones that I think will connect with readers. Those are the ones that will stick with them, I think. Here's my favourite part of the song. This makes me chuckle sadly every time I hear it. Our house sinking into disrepair. Ah, but look at this showroom, filled with fabulous prizes. It might sound bleak, but to me it's not bleak at all. It's a reminder that I'm not the only one that thinks too much and still can't figure out what the hell any of this is all about. So if you're a fiction writer and you're looking for your story, you'll find it. We always do. But my advice would be to think less about the huge moments and more about the small, quiet ones, the befores and afters. We should try and do the impossible, try and translate those moments that are often fleeting and nameless and hard to define. It's our best shot at writing life, I suppose, is to remember that The small things matter as much, if not more, than the big things. That's reality. And if you want some practical tips for bringing reality to your story, watch this video next to learn 5 things from Cormac McCarthy that will make your dialogue feel real. Thanks so much for watching, as always, and happy writing.